I'm going to do some Komarna and Vayakel. We'll see how much we do and how far we get. The Komarna also talks about this same pasuk that Rav Tzaddik talked about. Motzei Shabbos, right? Do not burn fire in all of your house on Shabbos. Although he says it also means kas, it means whatever, different things, different yonim, and Yisachar says it means kas, and the person who says that a person who keeps Shabbos is forgiven to his sins, even if he did Abu Zolak, like the generation of Enosh, but that's only if you don't get angry, you don't have the fire of anger in your house, otherwise you don't get such a big skills for Shabbos. He's like, oh, Ma'avguni Saskar. But the Komarna goes with the Zohar. And one thing that he says towards the end, he's explaining the Zohar, and then he says, people should not be Nizals in the Zohar. He said, the Bach says, a person who doesn't believe in the Zohar, there's a whole question about whether he's going to be cursed. The Bach. We have to be Parshas, maybe he's a min or apikuris. Maybe not apikuris, who knows? Why against the Zohar? That's what he writes in his Chuvas. And the Komarna brings that the Zohar says a person should not light fire Motzei Shabbos until they say Kedusha Sidra. Until they say unanimous Kedusha Sidra. That's a big thing, if possible. So he says he's talking about people who didn't continue their third meal that late. They finish exactly on time, and they go to Ma'ariv exactly on time. So mainly you have to be very careful until they say Sidra in the shul. You don't light a fire. He said if you do malacha, you're such a rush. He said, so what are people who nidam b'chidus? I made up the list. He's in a rush to do malacha. He's bring something close. It's not good for him. It's not the way it should be. It's not what it ought to be. What are you in a rush for? It's so hard for you. You have to add to Shabbos. This is the Zohar. He said, no one argues. First, the Jewish people should do Abdullah on the coast. On Tefillah on the coast, then you light a candle. So otherwise it's Shabbos. The Shabbos is sure. The Shabbos is there.
You for sure should, when you make Abdullah, you should for sure first make the Kiddush, and then after you finish making the Basam and the Kiddush, then you should light it?
No. You can make Abdullah, you're right. Abdullah, you can light the candle before Abdullah. But before, he says mostly it's time. It used to be very early. That's the point of it. That's the point of it. Because we know that when you're in a community, right, and they finish Shabbos right away, he said it's even there right away is a little later, and you're even earlier than them. He says it's not good. It's because it lights the fire of Gehenna early, kivyachol. We know that Shabbos. This is a little bit of a question. What does it mean? But it says that Shabbos, there's no Gehenna for people who kept Shabbos. So the question is, Shabbos is no Gehenna for people who kept Shabbos. Okay, very nice. What that means is, again, what exactly it means, so this person's relatives are the ones that are covered his Shabbos, but if he keeps Shabbos later, one way or the other way, he keeps Shabbos later, so the light of the fire of Gehenna goes on later. And this says that's why you're supposed to make the Hurachum a little slower, so it was Naginos, Motzei Shabbos, all these things were to make Shabbos come in a little drop later, a little bit later. Now, the aim is like this. The aim is that we need to be zoche to keep Shabbos as much as possible, to keep the Eve what Shabbos is about as much as possible. You know, Shabbos is a matter of bittul, totally nullified to Hashem, as it says. Start at Kiddush, you should go back down to Havdalah. So you don't rush. There's no rush for that. You know, I like to say from Parshas Karatzer. Parshas Karatzer explains that when you Parshas Karatzer explains that he says Shabbos is a revelation of the Oraganus. He says Shabbos is a revelation of the Oraganus. So this light that was set aside for tzaddikim in the times to come. He said that's why people who are far from kedusha, they always when Shabbos over, when Shabbos over, when Shabbos over. They can't sit in the organos any extra. They can't stay there. It's too hard for them. It's something. It's a yoke for them. It's too difficult. Mm-hmm. So that's the first Komarna. That's number one. Number two, I want to say he brings another point that's you try to be quick about. It's very beautiful. It's the Shesh Yishon Tasa Malacha Uvayoyim Ashvi Yeh Lachem Kodesh. So he said you're supposed to do Malacha. He said if you're a Talmid Chacham, you do Malacha through the learning. He said but usually a person does Malacha. Whatever Malacha he's doing, when he's doing Malacha, he's gathering up sparks. So that's why it's Tal Oros. Tal Oros. Right? You have to do these 39 malachas. So you're supposed to do yichudim when you do these malachas. You know, it says that Chanoch was a shoemaker who made yichudim and shemes. That's what the Medrash says. He did yichudim when he did his work. Risoslan said it doesn't necessarily mean he thought of shemes mamish. It just means that he was always worried about doing a good job and producing a proper product. And that's why it's Ki'ilu he made these big yichudim unifications. But the Hashem says it's very important to try to be connecting to Hashem with everything you do, especially when you're doing work, you're supposed to find a way to connect to Hashem every second. Menachem also talks about it. You should have in mind, don't get stuck, he wants to do this, whatever he's doing. You know, there were breastfeeders who would, when they did work, they would try to find some kind of angle to make it into Rosh Hashem. Do spoilers about it. So, a person can pick up sparks. There was a story with Moshe Savran who was doing business with his brother, the Komarna, and they were davening. We went to Mincha and Moshe Savran davened a very, very fiery Mincha. And his brother asked him, "What are you? You're so fiery? What are you like? We're doing business with Goyim." He's like, "No, you're picking up these sparks. You're picking up sparks. You're elevating holiness." And that's the bottom line. So that's the end. So we have to be zochet to do malacha in a way during the 6 days a week that we're picking up sparks. And that again has to do with meeting the challenge of doing what I'm supposed to do. To connect to the Or of Shabbos, to keep Gehenna away, and connect to Hashem during 6 days a week by doing malacha the way we're supposed to, how we're supposed to, elevating the sparks and bring Hashem into the world.
Amen.
Amen.